From the horrific Reapers to the once great Protheans, the savage Krogan to the ancient Leviathans. Mass Effect is a series full of rich lore, incredible creatures, dark secrets, and much more. Few games can match the storytelling and world building of Mass Effect, and as a whole, it is considered one of the greatest series in recent memory. To honor this, as well as the upcoming release of Andromeda, today I'm here with my top 10 facts about the Mass Effect franchise. Fact 1. The Reloi and the Virtual Aliens. Of all the races in Mass Effect, the Reloi and Virtual Aliens may be the most mysterious. The Reloi are an avian race that originated on the planet Turvis. In 2185, a potent virus broke out amongst the Reloi, forcing them to wear environmental suits while in contact with any other species. Interestingly, the name of this virus was H7N7, a real-life strain of avian flu found mainly in birds. Around the same time, the Citadel Council welcomed them to the galactic community, but the Reloi withdrew from the Citadel just a year later amidst the Reaper invasion of 2186. They proceeded to isolate themselves on Turvis and destroyed all technology for spaceflight, in hopes that the Reapers would see them as too primitive a race to harvest. Following this, the fate of the Reloi is left open-ended. 8,000 years ago, a highly advanced race discovered their sun was nearing supernova. To ensure the survival of their race, around 1 billion of them uploaded their minds to a virtual world aboard a starship. And then, the starship left the system, piloted by an AI. Because of this, the race became known as the Virtual Aliens. Virtual aliens have the ability to inhabit, or in a sense take over, organic bodies. In 2185, the ship made contact with the Antlion system, and they used this power to inhabit a human exobiologist, using him as a vessel to negotiate with the Council. Like with the Reloi, the fate of the Virtual Aliens is unknown. Because of the open-ended fates of the Reloi and the Virtual Aliens, there's a fair chance they will appear in Andromeda. This would be a much appreciated nod to the lore of the previous trilogy. Fact 2. References to other media. There are countless references to other media in Mass Effect, and these are just a few. In Mass Effect 3, Joker makes the following comment.
You want to nuke it from orbit? It's the only way to... forget it, it's probably fine.
This is a reference to Ripley's line from the 1986 movie Aliens.
I say we take off and nuke the entire site from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
Joker also says the following in Mass Effect 3.
Stealth drive engaged. Only way they'll detect us is if you all start singing the Russian national anthem.
This is a reference to a scene from The Hunt for Red October. Edie is heavily inspired by a character called Maria from the 1927 film Metropolis, and Jack, or Subject Zero, is inspired by Jack from the Chronicles of Riddick. During the car chase in the Lair of the Shadow Broker DLC, there is a wanted poster of Jack with prisoner number 24601 on it. This is a reference to Jean Valjean from Les Miserables, whose prisoner number was also 24601. Finally, in the basement of Donovan Hawks, you can find a Dragon Age troll. Fact 3. The Protheans. The Protheans are an ancient race that was once one of the strongest in the galaxy. The name and location of their homeworld have been lost over the years, but we do know their civilization originated at least 70,000 years ago. After achieving spaceflight, the Protheans discovered the ruins of the Anusanon civilization, and from their remains learned about Mass Effect physics and FTL travel. They then used the mass relays to spread across the galaxy and made the Citadel their capital. Protheans have the ability to exchange complex ideas through touch. As an extension to this ability, they built a special network of beacons through which any information could be streamed to and from the mind across the galaxy. Even today, after thousands of years, the beacons are still working. The Protheans cultivated many primitive races during their time, including the Asari, Quarians, humans, Solarians, and Turians. Despite this, they had an odd habit of occasionally eating these races for food. In a conflict known as the Metacon War, they defeated a hostile machine intelligence, which gave rise to the belief that they could hold their own against any machine intelligence. This belief was utterly shattered in 48,000 BCE when the Reapers attacked. The Protheans were all either killed or indoctrinated, with the exception of a small research team on the planet Ilos. This team went dark and studied the Reapers for decades, working out the connection between the Reapers, the Citadel, and the Keepers. At the end of the next cycle, Commander Shepard and his squad found Ilos, meaning the Protheans' efforts were not in vain. Fact 4. The Quarians. The Quarians are a nomadic race that once lived on the planet Rannoch. In the 1850s, the Quarians created a race of artificial intelligences called the Geth. They modified the Geth to do more and more complex tasks until at some point it became apparent that the Geth had sentience. Out of fear, the Quarian government ordered the termination of all Geth. But they severely underestimated the Geth, and in the war that ensued, billions of Quarians were killed. The survivors were driven from their homeworld, becoming space nomads who wander from system to system in a fleet of ships known as the Migrant Fleet. Depending on the choices of Commander Shepard, the Quarians are either defeated by the Geth and doomed to extinction, annihilate the Geth and reclaim Rannoch, or reach a compromise with the Geth that allows the two races to peacefully coexist. Because Quarians have a very weak immune system, they must wear highly sophisticated envirosuits to protect them from disease. However, aside from their immune systems, Quarians actually have very durable bodies, and killing them with a blow or strike is more difficult than killing humans, Asari, or Solarians. One strange fact about Quarian physiology is the males have 2 toes, but the females have 3. The Quarians' top priority is the survival of the Migrant Fleet. They maintain zero population growth by making it illegal for couples to have more than one child. Finally, in order to pass into adulthood, Quarians must make a pilgrimage outside the fleet. Fact 5. Voice actor trivia. The after-credits Stargazer ending of Mass Effect 3 is voiced by Buzz Aldrin, the second person to walk on the moon. Joker is voiced by Seth Green, who improvises many of the character's lines. Male Commander Shepard is voiced by Mark Meer, while female Commander Shepard is voiced by Jennifer Hale. Mark was originally just a fill-in voice actor, but BioWare liked his work and didn't want to redo his lines, so they kept him as the permanent voice actor. Interestingly, the Catalyst is partially voiced by both Mark Meer and Jennifer Hale. Fact 6. The Krogan. The Krogan are a race of large reptilian bipeds whose homeworld is Tuchanka. The planet is known for being extremely harsh, an environment in which the Krogan not only survived, but thrived. At the dawn of the Krogan nuclear age around 4,000 years ago, small battles amongst clans escalated into full-scale nuclear war. This turned Tuchanka into a nuclear wasteland, and the remaining Krogan reverted to a primitive state as they struggled to survive. At some point, the Krogan were discovered by the Solarians, who gave them advanced technology and relocated them to a new planet. In return, the Krogan joined the Citadel forces in a war against the Rachni, using their ability to survive harsh conditions to eradicate the Rachni in their home worlds. The Krogan were hailed as heroes for a time, but soon their race became overcrowded and they began forcibly settling other planets. The Citadel Council ordered them to stop, but the Krogan refused, resulting in war. These wars became known as the Krogan Rebellions, and continued for nearly 3 centuries. Despite massive casualties, the Krogans' incredible birth rate kept their population steadily increasing, and victory seemed inevitable. In desperation, the Council turned to the Turians, who unleashed the Genophage upon Krogan homeworlds. This terrifying bioweapon caused near total infant mortality among the Krogan, with only 1 birth in every 1,000 producing live offspring. The Krogan had no choice but to surrender, and over the next millennium became a dying people. Depending on Shepard's actions in Mass Effect 3, the Genophage is either cured, in which case the Krogan pledge their support to the Reaper War and are able to restore their race, or the cure is sabotaged, in which case the Krogan remain on a path to extinction. Krogan stand over 7 feet tall and can weigh up to 800 pounds. They have multiple instances of major organs as backup for damage to them. For example, they have 2 hearts, 4 lungs, and so on. Despite their legendary toughness, Krogan have a weak spot on the frontal plate near their head, which is supposedly one of the few things they truly fear. Fact 7. The Reapers. The Reapers are an ancient and highly advanced race of synthetic organic starships. There are several different varieties of Reaper. Capital ships are the most well-known variety and are 2 kilometers in length. No ship has ever been known to survive a hit from their main cannon. Destroyers are Reapers whose purpose is to escort capital ships and are 160 meters in length. Processors are mobile centers for mass harvesting, and troop transports are used to transport husks to unconquered worlds and bring victims to Reaper processing centers. Finally, Harbinger is the first Reaper ever created and is the largest and most powerful among them. A common misconception is the Protheans created the Citadel and mass relays, but they are in fact instruments of a Reaper trap that allows them to harvest sentient species. The Reapers would wait in dark space until a species inevitably discovered the mass relays and spread across the galaxy, establishing the Citadel as the center of galactic civilization. A lone Reaper vanguard stationed within the galaxy would then send a signal to the Citadel, instructing the Keepers to activate the station's hidden mass relay, opening a portal between the Citadel and dark space. The Reapers would then flood through, killing the leaders of galactic civilization in the Citadel before branching out and harvesting all spacefaring life around them. The Reapers gather and process large numbers of individuals in Reaper processor units. Individuals deemed unsuitable are turned into husks, while those deemed suitable are dissolved into raw genetic paste. The paste is then used to construct a new Reaper, with the victims' minds being preserved to form the Reaper's consciousness, and the Reaper's core made in the image of the species harvested to create it. This series of events is known as the Cycle of Extinction, and is an important part of the Mass Effect storyline. Fact 8. Indoctrination. Reapers have a terrifying power called indoctrination that allows them to brainwash organic beings. The precise mechanics of indoctrination are not entirely understood, but it is believed that Reapers generate an electromagnetic field or waves of infrared and ultrasound to stimulate a victim's brain. Victims of indoctrination may suffer headaches and hallucination, have feelings of being watched and paranoia, or possibly even begin to view the Reaper as a godlike being. The mental damage of indoctrination is severe, permanent, and cannot be resisted. The single exception to this was the last Rachni Queen, who was seemingly immune to indoctrination for unknown reasons. The Reapers used indoctrinated Protheans as sleeper agents in the previous cycle. These Protheans betrayed their own kind to the Reapers, sealing the fate of the Protheans as a whole. Some of the indoctrinated Protheans became a race known as the Collectors, who were essentially slaves of the Reapers. During the events of Mass Effect 2, they attempted to construct a new human Reaper under the supervision of Harbinger, but were stopped by Commander Shepard. One of the coolest interpretations of the ending of Mass Effect 3 is the indoctrination theory. This theory holds that Shepard was indoctrinated, and the battle after entering the Citadel at the end of the game is actually taking place in Shepard's mind. In support of this, Shepard spent time in a derelict Reaper whose mechanism for indoctrination was still active, handled Reaper artifacts, and faced many indoctrinated enemies. Fact 9. The original ending to the Mass Effect trilogy. Originally, writer Drew Karpyshyn had a different ending in mind for the Mass Effect trilogy. In this alternate ending, dark energy, which could only be used by organics, was having a ripple effect on the space-time continuum and hastening the end of the universe. The goal of the Reapers was to stop the spread of dark energy, which is why every 50,000 years they would turn an entire race into Reapers. In the Mass Effect universe, humanity is unique due to its genetic diversity, and for unclear reasons, humanity is the Reaper's best chance at stopping the spread of dark energy for good. The original ending gave the player a choice between sacrificing the entire race to create a human Reaper and stopping the spread of dark energy, or destroying the Reapers and trusting that humanity would find an alternative. Fact 10. The Leviathans. The Leviathans are an ancient aquatic race that dominated the galaxy over 1 billion years ago. Leviathans have the ability to influence the minds of lesser organisms to the point of complete physical and mental control in a manner similar to indoctrination. They use this power to dominate and control the land-based species of their planet. Through this species, the Leviathans achieved spaceflight and spread throughout the galaxy. Each new species they encountered was taken over, and soon the Leviathans stood at the apex of the galaxy. However, the Leviathans noticed that the species they controlled would often build artificial intelligences to aid them. These artificial intelligences consistently rebelled, wiping out their creators. In response, the Leviathans created an intelligence whose purpose was to preserve life at all costs. The intelligence, which came to be known as the Catalyst, eventually came to the conclusion that the Leviathans were part of the problem. It betrayed and slaughtered the Leviathans, then used their genetic material to create the first Reaper, Harbinger. Harbinger's design was modeled after the Leviathans themselves, and the rest of the Reapers would adopt a similar outward design. The intelligence then used Harbinger to harvest the galaxy's spacefaring species, and so the cycle of extinction began. The surviving Leviathans erased any evidence of their existence and went into hiding. They did not resurface until millions of years later, agreeing to aid the galaxy in the Reaper War after seeing the Reaper's fear of Shepard. During the war, the Leviathans were able to sever the Reaper's control over a group of collectors, who subsequently joined the fight against the Reapers. Alright everyone, that's gonna do it for the video. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed, and feel free to leave a comment letting me know your thoughts on these facts. Also let me know what sort of topics you'd like to be covered in future Mass Effect videos. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.